Hi everyone, we're back coming to you live from the Las Vegas Convention Center at ICSC Recon 2018. I'm Alana Leffler and lead our retail marketing for the Americas Retail Services platform at Cushman & Wakefield. And with us today at the Cushman & Wakefield booth is Kevin Farrow, head of UK Retail Occupier Markets. How are you, Kevin?
Very good, thank you, and good to be here. My fourth week at Cushman, so recently joined and enjoying the new team.
All right, well, we're so happy to have you here at Recon. How are you liking your time in Vegas so far?
Well, it's kind of tiring, as you can imagine. It's an 11-hour flight to get here, but at the same time, it's really exhilarating to meet a lot of new people and to make some new connections, both within Cushman's and reacquaint myself with old clients and the old team members.
And so how are you liking Cushman & Wakefield so far, 1 month in?
It's a bit early to tell, but I like the feel of Cushman's. Cushman's is a really personal team. It's a big company, obviously, but it does have a really personal feel about it, and I like that connectivity. So very helpful so far, and looking forward to doing more with everybody here.
I'm so glad. And I'm glad that you've noticed the personalized feeling that you have at Cushman & Wakefield. That's something that we definitely see on our side in the Americas markets, down to where I'm based in New York City. So that's one thing I can attest to as well.
Yeah. I think it's a competitive advantage to have that personal feel and team spirit.
Great. So being head of occupier markets in the UK, what are some of the observations that you're noticing right now?
Okay, well, clearly it's an economic challenge right now in our market, and we're seeing some structural change across all sectors, but in particular retail. I think the structural change requires an element of flexibility from each side of the equation, from both retailer and landlord alike, and that equation needs to add up. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves in an even more challenging market. So the flexibility I'm talking about is really how retailers finding themselves needing to do things better, which they in some instances definitely can do. We only need to look at some of the brands that have recently entered into CVA, which in the UK market is company voluntary arrangement, which is similar to your Chapter 11. And those are the brands that have failed really to move with retail trends, but also where they've just not been good enough at retail. And there's a simple fact in life: if you're not good enough, you need to improve, or the inevitable will happen. So retailers need to really get better at what they do. And we're seeing a lot of our principal clients investing very heavily in operational matters, improving their operations, trying to stay ahead in an economic downturn and challenging market environment. The need is for both sides to really make changes and to improve what they do. So retailers, as I say, from an occupational point of view, they need to really operate better. But landlords also need to improve, get their act together, frankly, in this market. No longer can we see the long-term leases that we have expected and seen in the past. I think there has to be the flexibility within the occupational leasing market to enable retailers to take advantage of the space that they need to sell the products, but to evolve into that space as well. So 10-year leases we're seeing as much less likely. Probably more likely are going to be 10-year leases, but 3-year breaks, even 2-year breaks. And I think landlords also are going to have to start looking very closely at turnover rental elements to those lease terms. In order to do that, landlords also need to have a discussion with their investors. So the banks, I think, no longer can just see a lengthy income stream that is not going to change. It will change over time. And just as trends come and go, then values, income will come and go from an occupier's point of view. So landlords cannot insist on the same level of income regardless of the market conditions. And I think that's one of the debates that we help frame. And I see our role as trusted advisor on both sides of this discussion, being one to frame the debate, to enable both sides to understand where those changes need to come.
Yeah, so as a brokerage services firm and as being their trusted advisor, how can we help them? How can we help our clients and our retailers and occupiers?
So I'm looking at this principally from an occupier point of view, and all of my clients are asking me to help them with the messaging they give to landlords and their partners in this business of retail, which without the landlords, very many of my clients will not be able to sell products in the way they do. So to enable them to spot the trends that we're seeing, to be decisive about what is available and what is possible for them in certain locations, but equally to be forceful with landlords and to draw the line somehow to help the occupier market really maintain its position. And I think ultimately it has to remain a partnership. Otherwise, I think that we'll see these challenges continuing. The economic situation we can't do a great deal about, but the retail has to respond to that, and retail markets are made up of two parts, which is occupier and landlord.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. Appreciate all of your insights and so glad to meet you here in Vegas from the UK. And thank you all for tuning in to the Cushman & Wakefield booth as we go live from ICSC Recon 2018.